Well, hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Monday, May 12th, 2025. We are just 20 days away from hurricane season, which begins on June 1st and runs until November 30th. I know you don't want to hear that. Next week, I'll go over the official NOAA outlook for hurricane season and talk about what changes are coming up in the Hurricane Center products. We'll be doing some extensive coverage of hurricane season this year. And also, we'll be talking about the importance of those ocean observing platforms, buoys, gliders, sail drones, that all contribute observations into those numerical weather prediction models so we can give you more accurate forecasts and more informed information to help your decision making. Well, this update today is for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment, where we share information across platforms from private sector liaisons within state emergency operations centers and also within private sector owner and operator organizations from the energy, utility, food, fuel, communication sectors, so they can get into areas where disasters have hit and power can be restored quickly and safety and normal operations can be restored. Well, this is a look from the GOES satellite. I've turned on the sea surface temperature data, and we do have a spinning top in the atmosphere. You can see that right there, spinning right over Mississippi and Alabama, creating some thunderstorms there. That is actually a cutoff low pressure system. Typically, the jet stream just powers weather systems from west to east in the northern hemisphere and moves things along. But occasionally, we do get low pressure systems that cut off from the low. That trough of low pressure is just a little bit too deep, comes down here like this, but then that just kind of cuts off from the regular jet stream that moves up in this direction here. So that means if it's separated from the jet stream, it's going to be a slow mover. And we don't particularly like slow movers because slow movers mean extended periods of rain and perhaps storms. So the National Weather Service has issued flood watches in the mid-Atlantic area from Virginia down North Carolina and parts of South Carolina in the mid-Atlantic here for heavy rain starting today, later today into tonight and tomorrow, particularly those areas along the Appalachian Mountains, even western North Carolina, extreme western South Carolina. Could be some very heavy rains, intense rainfalls, dropping like an inch or two of rain in just an hour or two. And but don't worry, all of you responders and those of you working to coordinate response activities, particularly in western North Carolina, this is not going to be any major flood. This is going to be more on the nuisance side. Minor flooding along rivers and stream beds where it comes out of the banks and perhaps gets on some patios and roadways and things like that. But it won't be the historic rainfall that we saw associated with Hurricane Helene, which was less than a year ago, just about 10 months ago. So this is the spinning low pressure system. It's going to be slow. It's going to be impacting the weather in the mid-Atlantic over the next couple of days. So let me switch it over a bit and do some drawing here. This is the center of that low pressure system. I'll clear this. Here's the center of that upper level low pressure system. And you can see that feed of moisture just coming in around that low. It's coming in this way as well and hitting against the Appalachian Mountains, creating that enhanced rainfall. Some areas locally could see 4 to 5 inches of rain. And I want to show that to you on the satellite imagery from the operational side of NOAA, which is the blended total precipitable water. Let's go over to that here. Here we go, full screen, and you can see that what's going on. All the green area right here, this is moisture, but look at this plume. You talk about an atmospheric river. Here is an atmospheric river coming up just like this, and it's banking up against the mountains. That is a lot of tropical moisture that's being brought in and around that low pressure system. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change the color here to white so you can see my cursor a little bit better. The areas in black here, that's oversaturated, the amount of precipitation. So this is what it looks like here. Let me draw that, and you can see it coming up right in, whoops, sorry. There we go. See it coming right in over the mountains here in this wide swath of precipitable water. Now, this is blended total precipitable water from NOAA, and this is really important to monitor, and it's derived from a number of satellites, but primarily the polar orbiting satellites that can take measurements of moisture through the clouds and through the atmosphere. Those satellites are critical. You don't hear about them every day, but boy, they really do feed those numerical prediction models and also help create this kind of product. So this is what's going on. You can see that low spinning and this moisture just being drawn right up and being pointed into the mountainous areas. And that's why we're going to see some very heavy rain coming at times as this low pressure system slowly moves its way on to the north. This is the blended total precipitable water product from NOAA, their operational division. It's called OSPO. Okay, so back to the wider satellite picture, and you can see this is really the dominant weather maker as far as rain and storms is concerned. So we have this area right in here that's going to be plagued with rain, and we'll be monitoring that on the NASA satellite side as well from their iMerge product, which measures precipitation intensity, precipitation rates. And I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But I do want to move over a little bit to the west as well. And notice here, you can see that low pressure system spinning here, impacting the southeast states and the mid-Atlantic states, just starting to get cloudy in Maryland and Pennsylvania. You've had another gorgeous day, but here come the high clouds. You'll see the precipitation come in tonight there. But look at this area right in here. I'm going to change this color to red because red in many cases means severe or hot. This whole area right down in here is going to be baking with very high temperatures. Dallas, Fort Worth, you're going to see temperatures at 100, 101 degrees. I'm going to show you that on the model forecast. That is stiflingly hot, and it's way before you see your average 100-degree day, which is the 1st of July, typically from a climate standpoint. And we're in the middle of May, so we're going to see that, and 80-degree temperatures going all the way to the southern tip of Hudson's Bay. That's where we're going to see 80 degrees all the way up here. So we have a big weather pattern happening with lots of warm air that's coming up in the middle part of the country. And fortunately, out to the west, we don't have any atmospheric rivers going on. Oh, well, let's switch over to the GOES West satellite. And I've got the sea surface temperature data turned on there as well. Lots of cold temperatures up here. Gulf of Alaska, of course. That is cold weather. The California current comes right down. That's why it's not as warm as the East Coast that has the Gulf Stream coming up. But very cold water temperatures down here. But fortunately, no real atmospheric rivers impacting the west coast of the United States. You can see this atmospheric river here going up into southeastern Alaska, into British Columbia. There may be some heavier showers there, but no real atmospheric river coming into the west coast. That's great. See a little bit of a low pressure system here that's going to be drifting down the coastline, and you can see that subtropical jet stream like this going down here because this low pressure is cut off from that system. And then we have high pressure and a ridge, big ridge right here in the middle part of the country that is going to dominate for the next several days into most of the week. There'll be some showers and thunderstorms that pop up here, but boy, get ready for some hot weather. That's going to be the story this week. This is a quick look right now at the 1-minute satellite sector. Look how clear it is all the way into Kansas. This is Kansas right in here, and here's the eastern part of Colorado. Denver's over here. And you can see this thunderstorm right here, just one thunderstorm. We can monitor little storms and big storms with these GOES satellites. Okay, let's talk about the ocean just for a second, because I did want to cover the sea surface temperatures. I'm going to start talking about these and the updates so you can see what's going on. This is sea surface temperature anomalies. Anomaly means above or below average temperature, and anywhere you see blue, that is below average, so colder than average sea surface temperatures here off the coast of Mexico. That's going to thwart any kind of tropical activity. Matter of fact, tropical storm hurricane season in the Pacific starts in just a couple of days on May 15th. But it's going to have a tough time with these cooler temperatures right here. Out towards Hawaii, warmer than average temperatures, and look into the Gulf of Mexico. Generally speaking, warmer than average temperatures in the Gulf, and even in the Atlantic. We had cooler than average temperatures around the Bahamas for about a week or so. That's diminishing now. Temperatures are warming up, getting that cold anomaly to shrink in size. But all the way through the main development region and hurricane, this is hurricane territory. We'll start watching that really closely. July, August, September, October. That's where the little seedlings come off of Africa. It is already warm in this area. Cooler just to the north. Let's get a little bit closer here to the Gulf and the Atlantic and the Caribbean. So you can see a little bit of cool anomalies here just north of the Yucatan, but very warm. Look at this along the west coast of Florida, Tampa down to Naples, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, down to the Florida Keys. Warmer than average temperatures by anywhere from 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. So you might be noticing that if you head down to the beaches in Florida along the Gulf Coast and also along the Western Gulf. You can see these warmer than average temperatures. That's what we're going to be monitoring very, very closely as we approach hurricane season. Okay, let's talk about the model forecast. We'll get through this kind of quickly just to show you what's going on. And down in the southeast, that's the real weather maker. That's where all the precipitation is coming from this storm just spinning around here. And it's going to be slow to move, but fortunately it's not being fed with tropical infinite moisture. There certainly is this plume here, and we showed you that on the blended total precipitable water product. But let's put this into motion and show you what happens with this rain. You can see the rain moving into the Washington and Baltimore areas. That's during the evening tonight, probably around midnight or so, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And pockets of heavy rain and storms, western North Carolina, particularly north of Asheville. There could be some flooding rains there. And again, it's not going to be major flood, but it will be raining enough to make it flood on some of the streets and make some of the streams rise up out of their banks. But as we go into tomorrow, you'll see tomorrow morning, a rainy day is in store in the mid-Atlantic, Baltimore, Washington, Richmond, Norfolk, and also North Carolina. You'll be getting some moderate to heavy rain at times. I wouldn't be surprised to see quite a few flash flood warnings issued tonight and tomorrow. There have already been some warnings issued during the day today. But you can see as we progress into Tuesday night, into Wednesday, the rain sticks around the mid-Atlantic. By the way, there are drought conditions in the mid-Atlantic, so this rain is going to be very welcome. Doesn't look like it's going to be flooding rain in the metropolitan areas, but out towards the Appalachians, where that air banks up against the Appalachians and gets forced up, that makes it rain harder. And so I expect local flooding conditions to happen. Make sure you pay attention to your local favorite broadcast meteorologist. They'll be giving you watches, warnings, and following the status of the radar there. This update is really to see where impactful weather is going to be that could impact the movement of transportation, delivery vehicles, and things like that. And it looks like the mid-Atlantic is going to be wet, but it's a welcome wet. And then look at what happens by Thursday morning. That low kind of dissipates and starts to move out. There's some remnants there, but another low pressure system is going to move in to northern Minnesota, northern parts of Wisconsin. with some rain, and that warm front's going to be extended down here and probably bring some rain into western Maryland as well. So the clouds will continue most of the week. It should start to clear up sometime on Saturday before another low pressure system gets close. But from tomorrow towards the end to the end of the week, Thursday, Friday timeframe, cloudy and rainy, sometimes moderate showers at times in the mid-Atlantic area. But look at this. Up in parts of North Dakota, it's going to be cold enough to bring in some wet snowflakes on May 17th. That's Saturday. But look at that. That's incredible. Now, one of the things that I want to show you here, because we just have kind of a progressive weather pattern after this, low pressure, this is by next week, may kick off some heavy showers and thunderstorms that we're talking here early Monday morning into Monday afternoon. Oklahoma may need to keep your eyes posted toward the sky for some perhaps severe storms next week. You're going to have to endure some serious heat coming up over the next several days. Speaking of that, let's go to temperatures. This is the temperature forecast. This is 2 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time, so just a couple of hours ago. And look at how far up these warm temperatures extend into southern Canada. 70s and 80s. Oh boy, look at that. And then we're going to take this on into the future here into Tuesday. So at nighttime, the temperatures cool down. Then we get on up into the afternoon. Tomorrow, look at these, 100 degrees in central and southern Texas. And look at that, high temperatures in the 80s in South Dakota, 88 degrees or 80 degrees on the border of Canada and North Dakota. And look at this, warm temperatures in the 80s all the way to the southern Hudson's Bay. That's abnormally warm temperatures, that's for sure. So we're going to continue this on into Wednesday afternoon, and look at this, 100 degrees. The GFS model is forecasting in Dallas, Fort Worth area, 100 degrees. That's way too early, and this heat wave continues up into the Midwest, and we'll even get near 80 degrees in parts of the Mid-Atlantic on Wednesday. But I think the clouds and the rain showers will keep the temperatures probably in the 70s there. But look at this as we continue on into Thursday. So Wednesday evening, 105 degrees in southern Texas. That warm air, that hot air is going to continue out there. And then it moves to the east a little bit behind that low pressure system that's going to be pulling out, with temperatures in Chicago close to 90 degrees. And this is on Thursday with, again, another rash of 100 degree output from those thermometers in southern Texas. And even in the 80s, close to 90 in Florida and along the Gulf Coast. And then things will cool off a little bit, but not much. Let's see when they go away here in Texas, still 99 degrees, upper 80s to perhaps 90 degrees in Oklahoma. This is Saturday, by Saturday. So we're getting out of here into fantasy land, and I talk about that because models out to 5-6 days tend to get more inaccurate as you go out in time. And now that we have fewer and fewer radiosonde balloon launch observations, because the Weather Service is not able to launch those balloons due to budget cuts and lack of personnel, we are seeing indications in some of these models that they're getting less accurate. That means that your weather apps will also be less accurate. So don't think if anything from the Weather Service goes away, oh, I'll just check my app. No, it doesn't work that way. The apps all run off of National Weather Service official data and official forecasts from their models. So generally speaking, forecast accuracy is headed down. It's very good between days 1 and 3, 4 and 5 gets a little bit less accurate. And then after 6 or day 7, that's what we call fantasy land. So needless to say, in the Midwest, we have a heat wave brewing. It's already hot in New Mexico, already hot in Texas, and that is going to spread to the north. But then look at this. By Sunday and Saturday, it cools down dramatically. Temperatures only in the 50s and even some upper 30s and low 40s next weekend into Monday, where there might be some snow showers in parts of North Dakota. Okay, I did want to show you GeoCollaborate real quickly because we do have some advisories in effect from the National Weather Service. So here's GeoCollaborate, and we do have excessive rain. This is the excessive rainfall outlook for the next 3 days. So this is where it could happen. Higher likelihood in this yellow area where we could see some flooding rains. Not widespread, but scattered. But this is the official forecast from the Weather Prediction Center in College Park, Maryland. That's part of the National Weather Service. And look at this. Down in Miami, let's zoom down into there for a minute. We do have the chance, a higher likelihood of flooding rains over the next 3 days. So if you're down in that area, remember, if it rains really hard, it does not drain very well. And with potentially higher tides and onshore winds, we could also have flooding along the beaches and the roadways there. But this is from excessive precipitation. This outlook for the next 3 days shows the area that's going to be impacted. The green area all the way to the yellow area and down to Florida in the red areas as well. Now, I do want to point out windy conditions, small craft advisories in effect off the coast here. So if you have small craft, do not venture out. It can be very windy and very choppy out there. What are these areas along the rivers? These are river flood warnings. Remember all that rain that we had a couple of weeks ago in Kentucky and southern Illinois and Arkansas? Well, all that water is still making its way down the Mississippi, and there's still river flood warnings going on, and that's why you see them here. What are these orange things? These are air quality alerts. It's so hot there, the air is stagnant. So Austin, San Antonio, these areas are seeing air quality problems, and that goes all the way over to the Mexican border and beyond the Mexican border as well. But poor air quality is going to be expanding, as a matter of fact, as this heat wave builds. What's this area in gray? These are also air quality alerts. So that goes up into Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Denton, Texas. There's air quality alerts there because the air is going to be so stagnant and so hot. Now, we do have quite a few advisories out to the west. I'll just point these out as well. So transportation may be impacted. These bright areas, pink areas, these are red flag warnings, watches and warnings. So if any wildfires develop here, they have a very good chance of spreading rapidly. So if you see any smoke anywhere, make sure you report that to your local authorities and let them know that you see smoke. We're constantly watching these areas as well with the GOES satellite and with the new next generation fire system that NOAA has been standing up. We get alerts when the satellite says, hey, check this area out. It might be a wildfire. Even in the higher elevations of Wyoming, look at this. Winter storm watch going on there and winter weather advisory in southwestern Montana. And along the west coast, we do have small craft advisories. We have gale warnings in effect. So it is windy because that low pressure system is coming right down the coast. Remember, I showed you that on the satellite picture. Can go back to that here for just a second. There it is, this low pressure system that's going to be moving down the coast. You can see the air, the wind moving a little bit onshore here. As this low moves south, that's going to create winds. And that is why we have these small craft advisories all up and down the coast from Washington State all the way to the Mexican border. Because it's going to be quite treacherous to head out in small craft, especially where there are other advisories too. Like this is small craft advisory, but the gale warnings, winds could gust to 35 miles per hour. And so that is very dangerous for a small craft. Okay, let me show you the precipitation amounts. Remember, I just talked to you about the excessive rain falling in the southeast, but this is NASA data, And we're watching and accumulating the rainfall intensity, monitoring what's happening. Here is the satellite image from yesterday. The low is a little bit further to the north and east today, but look at all this precipitation. This is heavy rainfall that the satellite is monitoring, NASA satellite from the Global Precipitation Mission. And so you can see this is about 1 day behind at least this particular product. We're working on getting products that are a little bit more close to real time from these NASA satellites, which is going to be very impressive. But look at this path of moisture. Let me zoom out here a little bit so you can see what's going on. Here is Florida right here. Look at this train of moisture that's just coming right up into this low pressure system here. So definitely tropical origins. You might notice if you're getting hit by these raindrops in Florida and Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, these are bigger raindrops than usual. These have tropical origins. That's why they are like that. So that's it for this update. I hope you enjoyed it and continue to watch these updates. We'll be bringing you more information, watching the satellite data, talking about observations, how important they are, because we want you to understand the weather forecast doesn't just appear out of the sky or just appear because we want to make it up. We have tools, just like a construction worker has hammers and saws and things like that, big equipment to help them out. Meteorologists have tools like satellites. There are eyes in the skies. They can measure through the atmosphere. We have radar data. The radars, they detect rain. They don't control any weather. They don't create any storms, but they do monitor the storms when they form. And we can't issue. The National Hurricane Center, the National Weather Service, the Weather Service forecast offices, they cannot issue warnings for tornadoes until they see that signature on radar. So when radars go out, we need to fix them really quickly because otherwise tornadoes may go unwarned, and we don't want that because that could lead to many, many more deaths and injuries. So thanks so much for watching. This update's for the All Hazards Consortium and the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. We'll be back again tomorrow or perhaps on Wednesday. Get ready for all that heat in the Midwest. Please do not leave any children or pets in your cars. If you park anywhere, the temperature can get well up to 130, 40, 50, 60 degrees in your car in just 30 minutes when it's so hot outside. So please always check the seat behind you and don't leave your pets outside if you have to go to work as well. They get hot just like you do. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Thanks for watching. Please watch out for your neighbors and also watch out for yourself. Your neighbors really do care about it, and they care about you. Take care.